I'm going to pay for that on Monday, I know. Now, let's everyone put our hands together for the grand, glorious class of 2014. Will the active and retired faculty, staff, trustees stand and face the students, please? Now will the class of 2014 please stand, turn, and face them? Now say thanks for your education by giving them a big round of applause. Is that the best you can do? Will the faculty, staff, and trustees please be seated? Now, seniors, you got to stand up. God, that felt good. Now you, please turn and face your families. Let's not forget Mother's Day last Sunday. Give your family and friends who supported you a huge round of applause. I can't hear you. Now, please be seated.
Yes.
This is my 12th commencement as president of Guilford College. 11 times I was able to say that the graduates get to leave and I have to stay. Not this time. The class of 2014 and the 8th president are about to call it quits, at least in our present roles. What have I experienced in 12 years that might be useful to you as you continue down the road? Be optimistic. Kick pessimism to the curb. I've never discovered the point where the impossible begins. Only death should limit your dreams or hold back your ambition. Don't shy away from taking chances. J.K. Rowling reminds us that failure is not fun. It can be awful. Her short-lived marriage had imploded. She was jobless, a single parent, and as poor as it is possible to be without being homeless. But living so cautiously, she felt, that you never fail is worse. So she took her old typewriter and a big idea, and the world of Harry Potter began.
That's right.
Be constructive. To be sure, this country and this planet have many enduring problems, but we cannot solve them if we fail to follow the force of Obi-Wan, but instead turn to the dark side of Lord Vader and the evil empire. Those voices are inevitable, young Padawans, but you don't have to listen. Finding fault is easy. Focusing on fixes is hard. It's more difficult to be an actor than a critic. Critical thinking does not have to involve negativity, self-loathing, and character assassination. Down the road, you will learn it is tougher to be kind than clever. Don't be a hypocrite. Saying one thing and doing another. Denying a benefit to others that you already have. Using one issue as a veil to hide the real issue are things that hypocrites do. A hypocrite, said Adlai Stevenson, is the kind of politician who would cut down a redwood tree, then mount the stump, and make a speech for conservation. Now, I'm really going to date myself with this next reference. Jim Baker was a televangelist who pleaded for donations while getting millions in salary, gold-plating bathroom fixtures, and air conditioning his doghouse. No wonder many thought that his PTL network stood not for praise the Lord, but pass the loot. Instead, be plain-spoken and direct, and have the same expectations for yourself that you would apply to others. Stick to the facts. Churchill once claimed that where there is free speech, there is also a certain amount of foolish speech. Too much of what we believe is not true, Even worse, we act on this misinformation. Words like stagnant, transparency, consensus are tossed about without evidence or explanation. Just because someone says it or prints it does not make it so. In confronting authority figures, many folks brag that they speak truth to power, when it's sometimes really half-truths, if not outright lies, from a world of make-believe. It's important to be honest, don't get me wrong, but it's also important to be right. You're graduating from Guilford College, not Disney World. Share the credit. This is hard. You'll be run over if you get between some folks and the spotlight. However, even if you did most of the work, acknowledge the contributions of others. Hillary Clinton was never more right than when she entitled her book, "It Takes a Village." It really does. Eisenhower would not have beaten Hitler on the Western Front without Bradley, Montgomery, and Patton. Marie and Pierre Curie worked together on radioactivity and shared the Nobel Prize. And the last time I checked, there were 3 musketeers and not one. Let it go. The past is past. Don't obsess on slights, comments, and behaviors that you find offensive. Ignore misguided attacks on whom you choose to love, what auto you drive, and where you will work. Do not succumb to the temptation to tell chronic critics to shove it. Turn away. Get over it. Move on. As Nelson Mandela wrote in his autobiography, A Long Walk to Freedom, although in prison for 27 years, he befriended his white Afrikaner prison guards. He learned their language. He studied their culture. Mandela even went to church with them, and his heart was changed. Mandela did the unthinkable. He forgave his captors and united a nation. Turn away. Get over it. Move on. Seize every day. No idleness, no laziness, no procrastination, no excuses. A Latin proverb reminds us, destitutus ventus remos adhibe. If the wind will not serve, take to the oars. A Facebook friend of mine once posted on my timeline advice about taking action. Missing somebody? Call. Want to meet up? Invite. Have questions? Ask. Don't like something? Say it. Want something? Ask for it. At 21, life probably seems limitless. I find myself at 67, knowing better. Each moment is a gift. Make it count. Each day has 1,440 minutes. The musical Rent reminds us that a year has 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter, in strife, in truths that she learned, or in times that he cried, in bridges he burned, or the way that she died. Find your passion. Everyone has at least one. Find it. It can be at work or home, on the playing field or on the stage. It can be anywhere. Live your own life, not someone else's. I've liked being president. I can count on one hand the number of days I've had regrets about taking this job. Well, maybe 2 hands, but that's it. I've loved teaching. That's my passion, and I was lucky enough to discover it at 26. Still, it's never too late to find out what and where you're meant to be. Life's full of second chances. Steve Jobs believed that the only way to do great work is to love what you do. He and Steve Wozniak started Apple in a garage when Jobs was 20. In 10 years, Apple had grown to a $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees. Then Jobs was fired, which in retrospect he felt was the best thing that ever happened to him. He still loved what he did, but now he had the freedom of a beginner. During the next 5 years, he started a company named Pixar that created the world's first computer animated feature film, Toy Story, and became the most successful animation studio in the world. Jobs later returned to Apple, and everyone with an iPhone or an iPad or an iPod lucked out. Excuse the sexist language, but what Jobs did, and you can do, recalls a song from the Broadway show Pippin. Every man has his daydreams. Every man has his goal. People like the way dreams have of sticking to the soul. And don't you see, I want my life to be something more than long. Rivers belong where they can ramble. Eagles belong where they can fly. I've got to be where my spirit can run free. Got to find my corner of the sky. Never forget to say thanks. For kindnesses, large and small, a thank you is your passport to appreciation. That teacher who helped you on an assignment, baggage handler who took away your rollerboard, server who provided food and service with a smile, and so many others. Just say thanks. Now it's my turn. Joyce Eaton and Jeff Favalise in the President's office. Joe Bryan and the trustees. Colleagues on senior staff. Clerks of faculty from Carolyn Beard Whitlow to Rob Whitnell. Alumni and friends, thank you. Faculty, staff, and students who have been community citizens from months to decades, and families who trusted enough to send us your children, thank you. Donors who supported us because a Guilford education matters, thank you. Finally, know when to quit. Better to exit when you decide than when somebody else does. Better to leave carrying your shield than being carried out on it. At the close of her reign, as her people expectantly awaited a new monarch, England's Queen Elizabeth I moaned, "There are more that look, as it is said, to the rising than to the setting sun." I know how that feels. A new president will soon accede to the office I now hold. I extend her every good wish. I'm ready to help. I'm also ready to get out of her way. Many presidents find it hard to give it up. Many students do too, but not this president. It's time. General Douglas MacArthur once said that old soldiers never die, they just fade away. The same goes for college presidents. And to paraphrase the general a bit further, like an old soldier, I now close my presidency and just fade away. An educator who tried to do his duty as God gave him the light to see that duty. To the class of 2014, good luck, and everyone, goodbye.
Congratulations, class of 2014. Way to go. My name's Chris Bishop, class of 1995, and I have the privilege of serving on the Alumni Association Board. I've been asked to offer some words of congratulations this morning on behalf of the association. At this point in the program, I'm standing between you and a celebratory lunch or cocktail, so I'll be brief. As you embark on this next phase of your journey, I want to offer some observations on the importance of staying in touch. When people ask me why I chose Guilford, I fondly think of Jimmy Williams. I would not have found Guilford College if it hadn't been for him. I met Jimmy at a college fair in the fall of my senior year of high school, and he was serving as an admissions counselor at the time. I guess he could tell I hadn't quite settled on my college plans. As I left him that morning, I remember him saying, "Let's stay in touch, Mr. Bishop." Little did I realize he was serious, and a relationship would develop. You see, Jimmy called me throughout that fall enough to really get my attention. I ended up visiting the campus, submitting my application, and the rest is history. I'm convinced that if Jimmy hadn't stayed in touch with me and nurtured the relationship, my journey would look dramatically different today. So when I sat where you sit now, almost 20 years ago, I knew that the relationships I formed here would continue long after I walked across this stage. I hope you take with you as many cherished memories as I have. I know you'll remain close with your inner circle of friends and even some faculty and staff, and I hope you'll consider staying in touch with this remarkable place as a whole. One way to stay connected is through the Alumni Association. It's a vibrant network of over 23,000 alumni across the world. Alumni are represented to the college by two advisory boards, the Alumni Association Board of Directors and the Black Alumni of Guilford College Advisory Board. I'm proud to say that this year the college celebrates the 10th anniversary of the founding of the Black Alumni of Guilford College Association and the first full year of the Guilford College Black Alumni Advisory Board. Yes. Together, these boards promote fellowship among alumni, develop supportive experience with current students and alumni, advance programs and services provided by the association to the Guilford community, and foster goodwill and philanthropy among its members and potential supporters of the college. We want to stay in touch with you to celebrate your many successes, personally and professionally. There may be opportunities for you to speak with future Guilfordians as they consider attending the college. There will be class reunions, departmental gatherings, and other functions. We want to stay connected with you so that you can stay plugged in to Guilford College. There will also be moments where the administration and others will want your input and your perspective. There are countless other reasons to stay in touch with the college, and we want to know how to reach you. It's so easy to stay in touch these days, particularly through social media. Consider following Guilford College alumni on Facebook, tag us on Twitter and Instagram, #GuilfordGrad, #Guilford College alumni. And of course, you can always send the Alumni Affairs staff an email update or give them a call. So in closing, here's a quick way for the Alumni Affairs staff and our association to link with you right now. Before I got on stage, I checked my Instagram account. I found only 13 posts using the #Guilford College alumni. I think we can easily increase that number today. Everywhere I turn, and my friend pointed it out as he walked across the stage earlier, people are taking selfies. So go ahead, pull out your phone right now. Family, friends, parents, you can join in the fun too. Go ahead, if you got your phone, take it out. It's time for a selfie. And if you're tagging us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, use the hashtags GuilfordGrad and Guilford College alumni. Thank you, class of 2014. Stay in touch, and welcome to the alumni family. Now, before I step off the stage here, I wanted to offer a couple of words to President Shabatar. I heard a story recently about that class that entered your first year as president. And when that class graduated, apparently Kent awoke to a sea of flamingos on his lawn. I think you recall that. Now, all but one, all of them were taken away except that one lone flamingo, which stood for quite a while. And as I understand it, somebody stole that flamingo. So I'm back today to give you the bird, so to speak. And I have this flamingo for you on behalf of the Alumni Association.
This is so not Kenny.
We leave you with the words of George Fox in 1656. Be patterns, be examples in all countries, places, islands, nations, wherever you come, that your carriage in life may preach among all sorts of people and to them. Then you will come to walk cheerfully over the world, answering that of God in everyone. Mind the light. Don't outrun your guide. Onward.
Now the song. Where's the song?